And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Here we are, Wednesday, June 21st. A beautiful morning in Cincinnati. I think things will be heating up here later this week, but really enjoying this nice weather right now. So today will be a short overview of the CareSource ACA product. And before we get to that, I just want to do some business here at Cornerstone and housekeeping. If you have a question, put it in the question box and we'll get to those at the end of the presentation. And with me today is Eric Pouncey Jr. Say hello, Eric.
Good morning.
Great. And then we just added Brad Petrella to the team. He's our business development manager serving Northern Ohio. And he's out of town on a well-deserved vacation right now, but he'll be back next week. And by all means, if you have any questions, you're in the Northern Ohio region and you want to talk to Brad, there's his email and phone number. But here we are to help you out. You can also check out our Monday Minute where we're always feeding information in there, lots of new information pertaining to the consent form and other things associated with individual and of course group and other things. So you know, my focus is primarily on the individual side. So that's my area of emphasis. And as an ASP broker, you are the pilot of your business and we are your flight crew. And as a Cornerstone broker, you have access to expert services from our agency services program that can help you with your business outside your scope and planning for the future. We create a customized plan for you based on your specific needs to ensure that you, your family, and your business are covered. Contact your Cornerstone rep for more information. You know, so themed along aviation, autopilot, then parachute, and then flight plan. So we got you covered. Let's talk about Health Sherpa. This innovative healthcare technology is the country's largest ACA agent enrollment platform, and with Health Sherpa's faster and easier alternative to healthcare.gov, you'll have the leading edge technology you need to maximize your marketplace experience. Health Sherpa is also the only agent platform approved by CMS to offer EDE, that means Enhanced Direct Enrollment. So really cool stuff. It's free. It's got search tools. It has real-time notifications and status indicators. It's really cool. It's state of the art. More than half of broker enrollments are done on Health Sherpa, and you know, I think, you know, a big chunk of all enrollments period are done at Health Sherpa. I want to say maybe a quarter, if not a third. So they are a huge player, and they've been a great partner with us, and it's free. So you know, they've been really fantastic. And talk to Eric or myself if you have any questions about Health Sherpa. Again, if you got any questions, put it in the chat. And then I'm going to miraculously change things to the PowerPoint presentation from CareSource. And Eric, can you see this screen?
Yeah.
Can you see the health insurance marketplace screen from CareSource? Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. Again, I'm doing this presentation, and I'm not a CareSource employee, so I'm just going to stay pretty direct and to the point and read these slides and kind of go over some of the high points and low points. They're in Georgia, Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana, Arkansas, and West Virginia. They have over 2 million members. They have 4,500 employees located in 30 states. You know, they are more than just ACA. So when we say 2.29 million members, that we're talking about the ACA. And they also have a big presence in Medicaid and, in fact, Medicare. So that's why they have employees throughout 30 states. So, and CareSource's mission is transforming lives through innovative health and life services. It's not just about making a change, but it's about making a difference. And CareSource is and always will be members first. Nearly 90% of the revenue that comes into the organization goes right back out to the members. And that's, part and parcel to the rest of the ACA carriers as well. So as you are well aware, the carriers can only retain, if at most, 20% of revenue, because at least 80% needs to be earmarked for claims. So that's their that's something they're proud of. And we've got the essentials, pre-existing conditions, and let's get into that a little bit. CSRs, advanced premium tax credits. Okay. Let's talk about their coverage area. They're in 86 out of 88 counties in Ohio. So pretty much every county is covered. More than 90% of the population is covered. Just some rural counties are not covered. I think Athens might be, that's the home of OU, and we'd certainly like them to add that, but they're not in the network right now. Okay, and here's some more promotional ideas, some more things that they're letting us know, and we realize that claims are costly, and ACA health insurance helps. They cover the 10 essential health benefits just like everybody else, including preventative, ER, hospitalization, prescription drugs, pediatrics, birth control, pregnancy, and more. So all your 10 essential health benefits are there and fully compliant with the ACA. And here's a message about open enrollment. So it'll be no different this year than it will be next year. It'll start November 1st. And if you're wondering when can we start training for, the 2024 open enrollment, that will take place in late July. So they moved that up a little bit, just an add-in to that. They will start that process sooner than they did last year. So keep an eye out for certification for open enrollment. And then getting back to this next slide, the special enrollment period, we all know what that's all about. That's basically the 10-month period outside of open enrollment, and you got to have a qualifying event. Losing essential coverage is clearly the most common one. That's the one we encounter the most. Okay. And this is something that, is nothing new. It's part of every ACA product. So we're just buzzing right along here. I told you it'll be fast. So I want to dive into the plans. And this is the meat and potatoes of the presentation, the plans. So they prominently display their silver plan because that's the one, they're probably promoting the most. And that's true across the board. Most carriers highly promote their silver plan because it enables cost share reduction, as you're well aware. And just a couple things here, like all the other carriers now, they have to offer a standard benchmark silver plan. And the things I see in this plan, it's got a copay, which is nice. The one thing that does jump out at me, though, is for an ER visit, you need to meet the deductible and then pay co-insurance on top of that. And unfortunately, that's kind of a common feature of most other carriers' plans. So And then they have a pretty good generic drug benefit, pretty generous there. So the silver plan, that's the benefit guide for that. The essential silver is their upper tier member of this metal platform. So I might lean towards this a little more. So, it limits you, limits the $0 visits to just 3, no charge after deductible, but I do like this aspect. They don't ding you with copays on top of meeting the deductible in terms of specialist, urgent care, ER, and generic meds. By all means, please add your questions to the question box, and I will jump in periodically and look at these, and of course answer any questions you have. We can also wait to the end if you want to do so as well. And you're right, David, they have expanded their network. Okay, and I'll touch on the other states in our area, namely Indiana and Kentucky, in a minute. They all have the same plan design, but we'll talk about that in a minute. They do have an embedded pediatric dental, which is unique in the industry. Most carriers opt out of that. I know you're saying, Jeff, well, isn't that required? It is, but there's a loophole some carriers use saying that we won't offer pediatric dental because it's offered elsewhere on the marketplace, namely CareSource. So if you're needing a pediatric dental baked into your plan, CareSource is the answer. I will say this, you can also do well with a non ACA pediatric plan. Those are out there as well. So just covering all the bases here. Okay. And let's just touch on their bronze plan. Okay. And bronze is a very popular plan for obvious reasons. It's cheap. And in many cases, people will get the zero premium plan depending on where they fall in the subsidy range. But with CareSource's bronze plan, the thing that really jumps out at me is they have some co-pays on their bronze first. That's unique. Most bronze plans are deductible and co-insurance, but CareSource has a copay featured with their bronze. And then lastly is their gold plan. Not many people buy gold, and it's a very generous plan. You'll pay for it though. You'll pay for it. You won't get the generous cost and that sort of thing. The base rates for the gold plans are pretty high, but like most gold plans, they have a lot of first dollar benefits. So that's the gold plan. And then, like all carriers, they have a emphasis on telehealth. I wonder why this one's so blurry. Okay, so Eric, can you still see the screen?
Yep, it's all still there.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to kill my webcam. I think that's part of the problem. So telehealth through zero cost telemedicine partner program, you have access to $0 copay telehealth office visits, and other telehealth office visits have the same cost share as your primary care physician, and non-office visits have the same cost share as in person. So, and the zero cost telemedicine partner provides access to a US licensed physician who can consult, diagnose, and prescribe medications by phone or video or short-term illness. So they're not really highly promoting, the telehealth as opposed to other carriers, but it is a feature of their plan, of course. And if you have more questions about their specific telehealth program, please let me know. Okay. And I did want to touch on, the pediatrics. They have not only pediatric dental, but pediatric vision. And there's that information there. And it's a nice feature. I really don't have any brokers, asking for Ped Vision, but it's there. Okay. And then they do have optional adult dental and vision. Okay. You can shop other vision plans too, but they do have that as a buy up on their ACA product. And here are the adult vision benefits. And they also offer a fitness benefit. There's the information on that. I'll include this presentation with my follow-up emails, so you'll have that at your disposal. And then how to enroll? Well, Health Sherpa or whatever enrollment engine you're using. If you are only selling CareSource, they have created a private label version of Health Sherpa for you to use. So it's probably best just to use your Health Sherpa tool, or for that matter, if you're using Cloud or if you're using some other tool to enroll someone. One area that I do want to emphasize, please, as brokers, don't use healthcare.gov to enroll your clients. That's a consumer-only site. Use one of the broker-driven enrollment platforms like the Cloud or Health Sherpa or the carrier site. And if you have any questions about enrollment sites, please let Eric or myself know, and we'll get into that. Just a couple of observations before I get to some questions. And these are my takeaways. As I mentioned earlier, one nice feature is the copay on the bronze. One thing that strikes me, as an agent here in Ohio, and the feedback I get from other agents in Ohio is they do a good job with pediatric hospitals, namely Southwestern Ohio. They have the nationally ranked Cincinnati Children's Hospital in network. No other carrier has that in Ohio. They're the only one with Children's Hospital Cincinnati. They also have Dayton Children's, and they also have Nationwide in Columbus. So one of the big draws for CareSource clearly is that they have Cincinnati Children's Hospital, which is very popular in Southwestern Ohio. And another thing is they have most of the hospitals in this area. I think they have all the Cincinnati hospitals. They have pretty much all the Dayton hospitals. It's a little leaner as you go north. They don't have nearly the coverage in Cleveland that they do in Cincinnati. Their coverage in Columbus is also a little bit leaner. I think they've got Ohio State up there, but they don't have Ohio Health. And the other thing that I want to point out, and I found this to be a bit problematic, is they don't do a great job crossing state lines. Like Ambetter does a good job, or some of the carriers, they have reciprocity in other states, but CareSource, you're a CareSource carrier in Ohio, or you're a CareSource client in, let's say, Indiana. That's a good example, Indiana, and you wanted to go to Ohio. That's a problem. You have to stay in Indiana and see the providers and hospitals there. A lot of people in southeastern Indiana want to come to Cincinnati, and I don't see a lot of hospital resources for them there. So that is, maybe an area that they could improve on. And the other thing that I just noticed, that they don't have an HSA on their bronze plan, but that's pretty much, the other carriers are the same way. So on the whole, it's a good, solid product. They certainly have their benefits, and people will really like their product. So let me just jump into some of the questions. And Eric, how are we doing on time?
We're good. Got about
Okay,
10 minutes.
great. Okay, we'll wrap things up in 10 minutes. And yes, David, they have expanded the networks. So they are in all but 2 counties in Ohio. They're in the entire state of Indiana. So they're in all of Indiana. And they are in, I would say, 80% of Kentucky. So anything east of, let's say, Bowling Green in Kentucky, they're in those counties. So as I mentioned, they have pretty solid coverage in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. So we got a question here. If you have a Kentucky plan, are Cincinnati doctors in network? And what about Indiana? So that's a great point, and I brought that up earlier. It's a little problematic when you're crossing state lines. So if you're in border counties of northern Kentucky, yes, I have found that someone living, let's say, in Kenton County or Boone County, they can come over to Cincinnati and even use Children's Hospital. That'll be in network. But like I said earlier, someone living in Dearborn County, Indiana, which is on our border, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, for example, that region, they cannot access Children's Hospital the last time I looked. So that's a bit problematic, and I hope they improve that network soon. And then the other question, besides Ambetter, what other carriers cross state lines? Well, Anthem, there's some cross-border stuff going on with Anthem. And I have to look at some of the other carriers. So just on a case-by-case basis, but, Ambetter probably touts the best cross-state coverage. And let's see, were there any other questions that you had? So that's my rundown of CareSource. This is, yeah. Eric, did you have a question? Okay.
Nope. Looks like we are
Okay.
covered.
Okay. Well, fantastic. I really enjoyed everybody jumping on today and the questions you had. Everybody will get a copy of the presentation. Keep in mind next week, I'll be doing a presentation on the recent mandated consent form for the ACA. The ACA has now mandated a consent form that needs to be held on file. It sounds scary, but it really isn't. And I'll go over what the requirements are for that. That's next Wednesday at 9:30. And with that, I want to wish everybody a great day, and thanks for joining us.